In Upperworld, simple, naive Ginger is a burlesque dancer who begins an affair with a very rich, powerful, and lonely man. Ginger had been in Gold Diggers of 1933 with Warren William. He appeared in 18 plays on Broadway and a few small roles in the silence, but when sound began, his deep, rich voice earned him top spots in many movies. He had a great run in the early 30s and was the first Perry Mason for 4 movies. Later, he was the Lone Wolf in 9 movies. 14-year-old Mary Astor started her movie career in 1920, had her breakout role in 1924's Beau Brummel, and was a major star in the silence. She transitioned to sound perfectly and was a major star until the early 40s. Covered in detail in an earlier video on the Ginger Rogers playlist, Ginger Rogers Cut Scene and Payback, Gold Diggers of 1933. Ginger had a great scene singing I've Got to Sing a Torch Song, cut from Gold Diggers of 1933, refused a long-term contract, and her companion boyfriend, Mervyn LeRoy, married a Warner daughter. I follow up with Ginger's strained relationship over the rest of her career with Warner Brothers. Unusual for Ginger in her very detailed autobiography, she does not mention the terms from her Warner Brothers contract, and after flying down to Rio, Ginger's next 2 movies were again for Warner Brothers. Considering her later relationship with that studio, I think she was contracted to do these 2. Again, in Upperworld, Ginger played a slut. It seems that is how Warner Brothers saw her. At least in 20 Million Sweethearts, she got to play a good, decent woman. Ginger is a burlesque performer who starts off in a blackmail scheme against a rich and powerful man. But this was still a much better role. She often shines, and in the end her character is sweet and fragile, and then heroic. Here's some proof the gossip columns didn't always lie. In the article about Ginger's cut scene in Gold Diggers, they stated Ginger pissed off a studio head another time, and they removed her from all posters. The movie bombed, they caved, and highlighted Ginger on the posters, and it did very well. Here, Ginger is technically third billing, yet in these 2 posters they highlight Ginger, one giving her top billing, over 2 very established stars. Ginger was already a top draw even before Fred. William is a rich, powerful businessman working on an important business deal. When he gets home, he shows his love for his son, who he is spoiling a little bit. Out on his yacht, his crew fishes a drowning Ginger out of the water. He gives her a ride home in his limo and is obviously taken with the charming and beautiful Ginger. She wants to return his clothing and asks him up to her apartment while she quickly changes. He tells her who he is, and she laughs that she was saved by such a famous man. She tells him she is a burlesque dancer, for now, but has been in a play. They have fun singing Who's Afraid of the Big Bad Wolf together. Driving to his office, his car gets pulled over for speeding through red lights. The officer is unimpressed with who he has pulled over, and William is annoyed at the delay. We get to see just how rich William is. The officer is demoted for doing his job. William will come to regret this moment. William comes home to a costume party at his house. He jokes with his butler about his costume. Again, he spends time with his son. His wife Astor comes in, and all she really cares about is her social functions and her standing in society, while he wants to spend time with his family and dislikes these constant crowds. He tells his wife about his dinner arrangements. It is their wedding anniversary. She had forgotten and has dinner plans she cannot break. She says they can celebrate tomorrow. Depressed, William goes for a drive and sees the billboard for Ginger's burlesque show. They go in, and Ginger does a cute song and dance scene to Shake Your Powder Puff. She sees William and Divine in the audience, powders their faces, and gives William her garter. He visits her dressing room, asking the manager and Ginger's boyfriend where it is. Ginger is again charming. Ginger asks if she can leave early, and William takes her to his anniversary dinner, where she finds out he is married. Back home, he tells Divine to keep all this quiet. They are sending their son to summer camp, something William does not like, but Astor insists for his social standing. Then she tells him she is going on a 3-week cruise with her socialite friends, leaving him alone again. William confides with his butler about how he is troubled. William calls Ginger, asking her to go on a plane ride with him. Naish, her manager and boyfriend, tells Ginger they will blackmail William, and she is to be friendly to him. You get the feeling Ginger is trapped by this creep, even to the point of prostituting his girl. Ginger is reluctant, does not want to get into trouble. Ginger is enjoying the plane ride, but then the plane has troubles and is forced to land in the middle of nowhere. The pilot has to find a phone, leaving them alone for the night. Ginger says, "Think of my reputation." Ginger asks again about his wife. William says he is just a little bit crazy about Ginger, and Ginger says, "Well, why don't you kiss me?" And it fades to black. Williams buys a beautiful piece of jewelry for Ginger's birthday. Naish is pressuring Ginger. Now is the time to strike with William's big business deal on the line. Ginger does not want to talk about it. Astor finds Ginger's gift in William's pocket and assumes it is for her. Astor obviously loves her husband and has no idea how she has driven him away. With William coming over that evening, Naish knows something is wrong and puts the heavy pressure on Ginger. She tells him she loves William and will not blackmail him. He demands Ginger's letters and pictures, and she tries to hide them. Naish bursts into her room, and Ginger points her gun at him. He slaps her hard and disarms her, and takes the material. As he goes to leave, William walks in, and is disturbed seeing Naish. Naish decides it's time to execute the blackmail. He tells William he put Ginger onto him. Ginger cries to William she loves him, and Naish stole the letters. William demands the letters from Naish, and then slugs him hard. Naish pulls out his gun, and Ginger runs in front to protect William and takes the bullet. Naish's gun jams, and William grabs Ginger's gun and kills Naish. Ginger is dead. He hides the evidence and leaves. Ginger rarely played this kind of girl. Not so bright. Had a tough life. Taken advantage of by immoral men. Maybe in Stage Door, and what I consider her last very good movie, Tight Spot. She does it well, sparkling in her scenes with William, sullen in her scenes with Naish. I find her one line very touching, when she is telling William she loves him and was not part of this scheme. She says, "I just wanted you to be nice to me." That was enough for this poor creature. One thing I do not understand about this script. Ginger just sacrificed herself to save William. Her actions prove she did love him. The rest of the movie, there is but one casual reference to her. Outside, Toller, the officer William had demoted, sees William's car illegally parked and watches William come out of the house. Back home, Astor tells William she realizes how wrong she was with all her society functions, and that William needed her. She promises to go on an extended family vacation once his deal is closed. The investigation is ongoing, and Toller knows William was in the room but keeps that to himself. He digs into the case, even though he is just a patrol officer. The story is big news. Foolishly, William returns to the scene of the crime. He bribes the janitor to keep quiet. Toller arrives at the same time to question the janitor and sees William unscrewing a light bulb. Now he has William's fingerprints, and Williams knows he is screwed up. But a detective breaks the bulb on Toller and he has to fight all the corruption. He is relentless and gets the press on his side, and they confront William with the accusations. Cornered, he lets them take his fingerprints. His party celebrates his merger deal, and a moment later he is arrested, his deal ruined. As the trial nears its close, his wife is leaving him. He tells her he never stopped loving her. He was just lonely. He is found not guilty. His wife stays with him, and they go to Europe, and they lived happily ever after. All, that is, except for Sweet Ginger. When Astor told William she was leaving him, she said he was involved in a cheap, tawdry love affair, and then, "You must have loved that girl." He replied, "I was fond of her. She never took your place." Nay, she wasn't the only one that used ginger. Please like and subscribe.